Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of the DweeBros Podcast. You might be saying, this is back virtual. I am done with virtual. You might be saying, I thought we were past that. I thought we defeated COVID. That doesn't have to be about COVID. It has to be about time. Time. And there's not a lot of it. I am your host, Dweebo, a.k.a. Zach, a.k.a. Oppenheimer's assistant. I'm joined by Oppenheimer's little brother.
How did I get deemed the little brother?
Gropeheimer. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's like Baruto.
Bopenheimer. You're Bopeheimer. You're Bopeheimer.
Oppenheimer's son, Bopenheimer.
Yeah.
Welcome to me.
Welcome to me.
Welcome to me.
I used to love on Microsoft Movie Maker back in the day on YouTube. People might remember this. Maybe too young to remember this. On Movie Maker, you could have a credits. Like there was a feature on there to make credits, and it would scroll for you and do all that. But everyone would put like video by me. They wouldn't say their name. It would just say video by me. And that's like, I love that when people still bring that back. Like in little goofy videos, they'll show that and it's like video edited by me. Video by me. So starring me. Starring Travis. But thank you, Travis. But where's Jacob?
Yes.
Usually we have a trio. But I want to say that I laughed very hard at myself and, with my thing that I said last podcast. Part 2 of that, I laughed very hard at Jacob's availability. So part 1, last podcast, I said, we're going to do 2 podcasts a month. And that is still a plan. That is still something we want to do. And that is a possibility. I could not have chose a worse time in all of the time we've ever done a podcast to announce that. Because I'm making a movie. We're working on album stuff together. Jacob, I'm about to say what his availability. It couldn't have been further from a possibility ever.
I'm in a different state.
Yeah, you're not. Travis couldn't even be in the same state. It was so impossible that it's unbelievable. I haven't said that, but that is a plan for the future, and we are working towards that. But gosh Almighty, it's not happening right now. But the second thing, when we were trying to find out, like, well, let's do one. Let's go back let's go back to just doing one a month. We can do that. That's possible. Travis was like, I'm going to be in another state. Okay. And then Jacob texted and said, because he works, regular 9 to 5, whatever, like all of us, or people are busy during the day on a weekday. He said, yeah, I have this such and such from 6 till 9:30 every weekday, and all my weekends are booked. Which is the most, I actually cannot do this thing. Because if you look at it, that's every single hour is is taken up. Like you can't even fit a 10-minute call in to even if you wanted to. But
that's his way of saying I'm not available.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, I was reading, I was like, that is every hour.
You might as well just say I'm not available.
Yeah, he is.
I'm busy Monday. I work during the day, and then 6 to 9:30, and then Tuesday the same thing.
Yes, and I was reading it, I was like, that's every hour is accounted for. I was like, can we do 1 in the morning till 3, and we can film?
Is Jacob quiet quitting?
He's quiet quitting. Wow, you heard it here first.
Quitting.
Wow.
Maybe he doesn't want to own up to his bet to watch Friday Night Lights.
That's what it is. But that is what is going on right now. But Travis had an idea, and we're going to try to do this because finally I disgraced his name, or I shouted his name one of these past Hangouts, which Hangouts is on a pause because of the stuff we're about to talk about, the busyness that's going on. But on one of the Hangouts, I was so excited. It's like, next freaking one, I'm going to have 3 monitors. Thank you, Devin. He's selling the monitor. He's getting a monitor up to me because he's not in the state or whatever, and he came to visit. I said, hey, you got the monitors? I'm so excited to get these monitors, dude. I was talking about in the last Hangouts, and he's like, would you hate me if I didn't have the monitors? And I said, yes, I would. But finally, he just recently I've got them hooked up now. I've got 3 monitors, so this should go a lot smoother when we start to have Hangouts. But I also want to pull up things that we're talking about. I'll look up things and kind of articles I can pull up while we're talking here and share the screen. But I want to share. We'll pull that up now. Here. So first up, I want to talk about the experience of making a movie. I thought that would be interesting to talk about because it's just like this. Is this showing up? It just went away.
Yeah, I see this.
Oh, you see it?
This guy.
It's not showing up on my screen. Hold on. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah. So that's a director. I just googled director. It's pretty close to what that is.
Do you have a hat like that?
Yeah.
I like that.
I used to.
Click on is that Steven Spielberg? Click on that.
I used to wear a hat identical to this when I first started. Sorry, it's like it won't stay up while I'm.
Oh, look at this
doing
look.
this.
This is like a good director look.
Yeah.
All four of these guys.
Yeah. Can I like pin this? It keeps.
I like the pop-ups that they do these days. I love that feature.
That hat I used to wear when I first started doing YouTube videos. Like that, not that exact style. It was like black, but it was like a felt hat when I would direct these little YouTube videos.
I know that.
I got into it, but that is definitely a director's hat. I get why people wear
Yeah.
it. You feel like a director when
Yeah.
you put it on. But now you
Yeah.
look back at high school me wearing it's kind of goofy. But all that to say, it's we had our first day this past Saturday, and in famous underestimating fashion with me, and I kind of knew it was going to be crazy. I knew it was going to be a crazy day, but we did a start in the morning, break off for a couple hours, come back to that same location at night. I've never been that zonked in my life of just running on.
Your filming schedule was 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. with a break in the middle, but I came during when the break would have already started and you were still going.
Yeah.
You were going hard.
I was I will at least say this, like, because it's at least funny to talk about this. It was at a school location, and we got access to the school, and the floors had recently been waxed. So the person that was kind of helping with this, the school or whatever, we didn't want to mess up the floors because they were just recently waxed, and was like, okay, let's take our shoes off. And then I stepped in something in my shoes, so I couldn't even wear them anyways. It was just so sticky running around. And I took off my shoes, and I met our like main actress with my just running around in socks in the school. And I was like, hey, nice to meet you. But at one point I didn't know where different parts of the school was that we were trying to shoot in and find stuff and mess around, looking at these shots. And I at one point was running around in the dark, like it was dark outside or whatever for the shoot, in my socks at full speed. I'm just running down the hall in my socks, and it felt like a liminal nightmare, not even a liminal dream. It was like, I don't know, everything's dark. I'm alone in the school, it feels like, and I'm trying to run to find out where people are at, but it was very dreamlike. But yeah, very great. We did not finish. We have to do a pickup shoot basically this coming weekend, but very crazy process.
Is that reshoots or
they're pickup shoots, yeah, because we didn't finish it. It'd be reshoots if we'd filmed the stuff and we fricked up.
I see.
Flash style. If we fricked up that way.
Yeah.
And reshoot all that stuff.
All good in Flashland.
All good in Flashland.
What was the final financial performance of the Flash? Can we just get a headline?
Yeah.
Recap that one for us.
Yes.
And then I want to look up one other thing on this.
Flash.
You were talking about
movie performance.
Financial performance.
Grossing $260 million against the budget of over $200 million. The film was deemed one of the worst box office flops. So they had to basically piss everyone off by freeing the Joker out of the Arkham Asylum, essentially. To get the flop, to get that much, they had to sell their souls to do that. But
okay, I asked you that because I also saw a headline that made me laugh because I've never heard of this and people were like, I can't believe this. Have you ever heard of the Blue Beetle?
Yes.
The Blue Beetle has a movie coming out.
Yeah.
Did you know that? And that
I'd heard
movie,
that. Yeah.
and apparently it's looking like it won't make any money. I had never even heard of it, and I almost wondered if they put the article out as like reverse, like psychology marketing. Like, oh no, this movie's gonna fail. The Blue Beetle. I don't even know who that is. Who's the Blue Beetle?
It's. I
How
think
have I never heard of this?
I think there's a. I just know it because I just seen people talk about it recently, but I feel like with Phase 1, what did we, with like Marvel stuff? Is this even Marvel? Or is this DC? I don't know.
This is DC.
Okay.
This is DC.
Well, I feel this way kind of about Marvel too. So this is the same boat. But what do you do first, Marvel? Do you do, Ant-Man? No, they were doing Spider-Man. They were doing like Thor, like all the people you recognize they were doing. But now we're in the things of like I've never heard of some of these people, and they're making these big like hundreds of millions, and it's like that's cool for the people that are into that. But these are definitely less known. They're not Spider-Man.
I mean, dude, Blue Beetle.
Who is Blue Beetle? I know there's people
you're in
pumped.
The comments and you're mad. Educate me on Blue Beetle.
There's people probably stoked on Blue Beetle, but
Bolt? Is he with Green Lantern?
I don't know. Seems like he's pretty old. He's right here too.
Blue Beetle, Green Lantern.
Yeah,
Red Rascal.
I think the bubble's about to pop with all this.
You hear about the Red Rascal?
Is that real, or I don't know? You could lie to me right now.
Isn't that crazy? You can't tell.
Don't even know anymore.
Know, man. All's good in Flashland.
All's good in Flashland. But
I'm glad that your filming is going well.
Yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated, but I did want to have a funny story that kind of connected with us with this movie, and that was we had to do a virtual table read. So I got to have all these actors come on, and we had to do it over Zoom because the scheduling was crazy or whatever. So we did it. There was a lot of technical issues. I felt like I was doing my old job of like technical support and I had to call and get these people working, all this other stuff. At the very end, I was like, hey, thank you, everybody. This was awesome. And I looked over at the screen. I was like, and thank you for watching. And I told them, thank you for watching. And I started like this, and I started laughing. They all started laughing too. And I was like, I seriously am used to streaming. I was like, I stream here. And I literally told them what I do like at the end of Hangouts. Like my brain is like linked to the space with Hangouts, and I had them all on the screen, so like I was like linked back to that. So I was like, hey, thank you for watching. Subscribe, subscribe if you liked that table read. But it's been a very fun experience. And then I mean, Travis, you did like Dweebs with us, and that was an experience because it's like none of us are actors, so we all have to kind of. Like we all have to tell the lines a million times to get them right and stuff. Because that's just the thing of like we're not trained to do that, right? So, when I was on set with these, we have a budget and there's like professional actors and stuff involved in this, and I caught myself multiple times going back to old things that we've always done as friends, and one of those times was. I kind of changed one of the lines. I said, I had to change this, but here's the original thing. Like, it's all the same, but I'm wording this different, or I'm changing the name of this thing. And I showed one of our actresses that day, and I was like, hey, it's this, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, cool, got it. And I was like, you got it? Like, it's, and I started reading her lines. I was like, yeah, you're just saying blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yep, I got it. And I started laughing, and I was like, you got it. Like, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But in my head, I was like, yeah, like,
You're used to repeating it.
Yeah, I'm used to having to like do 16 takes to get that line right. But all of these people were literally like, I think they fumbled, like the words just fumbled like one time the whole day.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Wow.
Just one actor did that, fumbled one word. So everything else was my fault or a framing thing, but like that we all kind of worked through audio that we had to work through. But much different process. And then the other thing is when we would always film Dweebs and stuff, I would go, 3, 2, 1, action. And that just is something since I was started on YouTube since I was a kid. But with this, you go like rolling audio, you make sure the audio is rolling video, and then you do the slate, what scene you're on, what take or whatever, and then you record, and then like action. That's the organized like way to do it. And 2 times, especially at night when I was like gone, I caught myself laughing. I did it twice in the day, and during the day I was like, all right, 3, and I laughed. I was like, sorry. And like I can't explain the joke or explain why I even said 3.
Just habit.
Yeah, it's so ingrained in my brain. So I did that, and then at night I did it too. I was like 3, and I was like, sorry, but by the end I was so dead. And our actress was ready to keep going. I was like, are you good? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And we'd been baking in the sun all day, and I was like, we had to call at like 3:30 in the morning, and we were just gone. So
That's so funny,
Yeah.
man. You got years of dealing with whoever you can get, and
Yeah.
now you got some pros. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a
That's
bunch of
awesome.
different things. So I'll keep you guys updated. It's a very extreme process, but I think it's gonna be cool. But that's what I'm doing. Other people are working on other stuff, like taking things off of buildings. They're taking the words Twitter off of buildings. I don't know if you saw that.
I have minimally kept up with. Okay, so I saw the announcement, and the announcement was that Elon Musk is rebranding Twitter, dropping the bird logo and
Yeah.
adding an X. And all I could think was, he's made now multiple decisions that I'm like, it's dead.
Yeah.
So like I this made me laugh. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like he's intentionally trying to do anything he can to make it worse.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear your perspective. We've gotten into semi arguments on this podcast about Elon Musk and Twitter and
Well, I got fired from
stuff
Twitter and then
about-
rehired as well.
yes.
That's
yes.
happened to me before.
So what's your perspective on X?
Well, now I'm employed at X. The tax documents are going through right now. There's a lot of work behind the scenes. No, I gave this guy the benefit of the doubt because like there's a lot he's taking on, a lot of debt, all this other stuff. It's like let's give him time. But this is the equivalent. I feel the same way with this as I did Xbox when they announced Xbox One. Because I was ready to give money to buy an Xbox One, and everything that came out, I was like, you have done everything wrong continually. Like there's no good stuff for the consumer. And that's the same thing I feel here. It's like I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm ready. I'm going to continue using Twitter, and still that's a little different from Xbox. But at the same time, is looking at him and is he like making good decisions? It's like I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you're taking on a lot. But you have not made like good stuff. Like I have not seen good results. You know what I mean? Like the results are everything.
Yeah.
So it's just
I've
a
almost
lot of.
completely stopped using it. Yeah.
I still use it every day. I don't call it X. I'm just I'm clicking on my Twitter. You know what I mean?
No
Like
one's gonna call it X.
I'm not even calling it X. So I'm kind of just ignoring this. This doesn't even exist to me. This was this is like not even reality in my head. Also, I was doing the movie when all this was happening, so I'm like, this is still Twitter. But yeah, they had somebody do this, and I guess they didn't even get this finished. It still says like iter up there because they didn't have the right permit to go ahead and mess with the sign or something. Like they didn't have like that crane. They got up to do all that. They didn't have the permit. Something happened, so it just says iter up there. Yeah.
That he is dismantling a very well-known, like it's very hard to build a brand where
Yeah.
everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it reminds me
He's
of the
just
HBO
nailing
Max
that.
thing. Like I said in the group chat, I was like, it reminds me of HBO Max, and they're just calling it Max now. It's like, why would you
Yeah.
ever do that with years of brand loyalty and like
You're
and what that
killing
quality
your
is?
brand.
Why would you ever do that?
Yeah.
The only reason I'd call it X is if like Twitter had like a big ginormous like meltdown. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe
Yeah.
that's why they're calling it X. Maybe I just solved it. But
It's wild, man. I don't even know what to say other than I every time I think it's dead, he keeps it trucking. So
well,
I
and the
don't
thing
know.
is, nobody can make, for some reason, that I retweeted, or maybe I just liked it. There was somebody on my that I follow, and he said it is kind of effing hilarious that this person has made 17 wrong decisions in a row, and nobody can like take the spot of Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's like because Threads came out, but you can't use it on mobile or on desktop. There's other issues with it and stuff that people were complaining about. Like, and then there's Mastodon I'd heard about, and like a million others that tried to take the crown. It's like, this guy is literally like, he's he's underhanding it to you, and I don't know why we can't figure it out. A replacement, but
If Threads is fine, it's kind of not feature complete, but there's just so much momentum behind Twitter and so many people
yeah,
just ingrained use it. It'll take a lot for people to migrate. This
yeah,
isn't going to be a NeoGAF situation where
yeah,
everybody just leaves for reset era in one day. I think people keep thinking that's going to happen. It's too big. It's
yeah.
never
It's
going to
too.
happen. It's going to be like a MySpace to Facebook type transition, and I don't think it'll be going to Threads. I think
Yeah,
that something will come out eventually that is different but fills the same need, and that would be the transition more likely than some overnight everybody leaves Twitter thing.
yeah. It'll be interesting. We just haven't seen something this big be taken down in so long. Like MySpace was the last big one. NeoGAF to reset it on a much smaller scale, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, we never seen something that big migration wise since MySpace to Facebook. I mean, that's been
Yeah.
a lot. That's been over a decade ago, I would say. But, um, yeah, Twitter, X. You'll find us on X at DweeBros. We're at DweeBros if you want to catch us on X. Did you know he actually
It's so hard.
he wanted to rename PayPal X or something. Let me
Yes,
see
I
that.
heard about that.
Yeah. Here's the article. Elon Musk tried to
It
rebrand
is
PayPal as
so
X.com. He was ousted as CEO. Like, why would you like
it
it?
is so hard.
I like how it
to
didn't
make
work.
a
Like, you got
brand.
kicked out. It was so stupid of an ideal.
It
And
is so hard to make a brand name that when someone hears it, they know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
When someone says PayPal, you're not, which PayPal? Is that the band or you know what I mean? No one's
yeah,
confused. You know what they're talking about. Twitter, no one is confused. You know what they're talking. Well, now they're confused, but no one's
yeah.
confused. X is a dumb
I
name.
love
It
this right here.
doesn't-
It says X had conducted a series of focus groups showing customers disliked the brand name because it reminded them of porn.
Take an extremely well-known brand name, even if you didn't have a brand name. X is a dumb name because X doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
Just name your
Twitter
kid.
doesn't-
Name your kid that, and don't name the website.
Does this kid have an X?
It's
in
an
his
X
name?
something. Yeah, it's like X.
This guy is obsessed with X.
He's something with X, dude. But another part of me, maybe this is another of his meme things, and he'll change it back to Twitter, and it was all like a publicity stunt. That is also a thing that this guy could do. So keep up. He's
Where's
he's
Grimes?
kind of like
Someone
where's
talk
Grimes?
some sense into him.
This guy's kind of like
Maybe
the
Grimes.
this guy's kind of like the Joker of social media, you know.
He is. He just wants to see it burn.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's talk about video
that's,
games.
That's the Elon update. Yeah, let's talk about video. Let's talk about video games. That'd be great.
We had just one news thing I had. I didn't know if you had any thing you want to talk about, but
I definitely want to talk about.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's start with yours.
Oh shoot, hold on a second.
Oh my gosh.
They announced they had Limited Runs had their kind of their showcase, so they were straggling behind a little bit on their E3 this year, along with everybody else, because that was last month was a lot of the E3 fake E3 we always referred to it, but they had their show and they showed off that they are doing is it a port? Oh, they're porting it. They have this thing called the Carbon Engine, and it sounds like they're kind of salvaging all these old games because all the licensing issues they're kind of like running out. Limited Runs has been doing that for years. Of course, everybody kind of knows who they are, but they are now doing the same with Gex and Toomba, and they're putting it on this Carbon Engine, and I guess that's what they're putting all these old games on and kind of transferring them over, but I don't know if it's like updated visuals or they're just kind of porting it. I don't know. But
is it something they drop the source code into this engine and they can kind of like do updated things with it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, or this could be like touched up. I think they've touched up some games or something, but
interesting.
But yeah, Toomba and Gex. Did you play either of those? Have you played either of those?
I played Gex 1. I didn't even know there was a trilogy.
Yeah,
I played Gex and Glover. I get them mixed up, but I played each of them.
Gex. I have a very weird memory with Gex. So I played all three of those games. But I had a next door neighbor, and I think she was like a second cousin related, and we would play through all these Gex games together. And I remember getting stuck on like Gex 2, and we were stuck. We were stuck the whole day. It's like we can't get past this thing. And I went home, and I dreamt of how to solve that. Like I had a dream, and it's showing me in the dream how to do that thing. And I went over the next day, and I said, "Get Gex back out." I was like, "We're stuck on that part," and I was like, "I know how to fix it." Like I dreamt it. I told her. I was like,
Oh my
I dreamed
gosh.
how to fix this, like how to get us past it.
Wow, you're an AI.
And we booted it up, and sure enough, I like followed that thing, and I figured it out. Like that was the solution to get us past the thing. So
Man,
Gex was like
you have
an
a deep
awakening.
connection to
Gex, yeah,
Gex.
Gex was an
Wow.
awakening. I had a, the
Interesting.
yeah. So I was Gexed
Yeah, you have
out.
a spiritual connection.
Yeah, I was Gexed out, you could say. But Gex 1 was like this kind of like 2D kind of thing. I think it was on Saturn too. It was on early like PlayStation as well.
Wait,
It was on
really?
Saturn,
Excuse me?
yeah, Saturn and then PlayStation.
Which
Um,
one was on N64?
that would be Gex 2 and probably Gex
That's the
3.
one I played.
Yeah, so that was the one a lot of people played because Gex 1 was kind of this 2D kind of like deal, but Gex 2 was 3D and it was a platformer,
Yep.
and he said all the freaking Austin Power lines, uh,
Yes.
all that stuff, which a lot of people were saying like I can't remember every joke out of that game, but I wonder how much is going to be carried over, or they're not going to have him say certain things because it was the 90s, you know.
Is Gex good?
That is a question for the podcast, I think, this month. Is Gex good? I don't know. It got in my
'Cause I think
dreams.
we're kind of reaching a point where we're getting most of the good games
Yeah.
remastered.
When I saw Gex remaster, I was like, I don't know how many people were like, yeah, Gex, but there is probably people.
You know, I'm
Um,
sure, but we're reaching a point rapidly here.
we're
I
going
mean, I
through
don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure they know people have a lot of memories like I do about my dreams where I was dreaming about Gex.
Yeah.
But
Now,
yeah,
are you gonna buy this?
I think I will. I think this is I want to relive those memories and have something easy to play it on. So it's cool they're doing that. But I don't know. Will they like upscale it? Will this be like a remaster, remake? I don't know. Toomba, on the other hand, I played like on a demo disc back in the day on PS1. Never had it, but I loved the demo. I thought it was really fun. I just again with like I always get games for birthdays and Christmases. Toomba was like last, not first on my list to get, but it's a 2D side scroller. You're jumping on like pigs and like jumping up and throwing the pigs, and it's very fun. Both 1 and 2 are both really fun, but did my camera just go out?
You did just
Okay, there it
disappear
goes.
on my end.
Okay, I'm back. But yeah, and that game is very expensive now. It's more on the expensive side. So I'm glad that's getting updated and people can play that because that is a very fun, great music, great weird game, weird style, but definitely recommend
He's
Toomba.
got a weird like pink hair thing going on
Yeah,
there.
Gex, I don't know if I would recommend to a lot of people. I wonder how that's going to play in 2023. This is going to be really interesting if they don't remake it, but
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. But Toomba, I think, has held the test of time. But that is all the news I had. What else is going
Well,
on in Game Land?
yeah.
What should I search for here?
Okay. Look up Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, we should talk about this.
Backlash.
Baldur Gate.
This is unbelievable.
Baldur
to
Gate
me.
3. It was
Backlash.
developers.
Developer backlash.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Baldur's Gate 3 has been in early access for a couple of years, and it's coming out officially in August. And I have
What was it?
never
New standard.
seen-
It was like new standard. Hold on, I
Yeah,
did find this.
Backlash, new standard.
Baldur's Gate should
Yeah.
not set the new standard for role playing games. Warns game developers. This is an this is an anomaly.
I have never seen before a game has come out. Developers from other studios come out and say, "Hey, like no, like this isn't fair. This is Read these tweets.
Yeah, how many
Like,
game developers clubbed
look at this.
together?
look at this person. Okay, Xavier Nelson. Like a lot of people, I'm deeply excited about what the folks at Larian who make Baldur's Gate have accomplished, but I want to gently, preemptively push back against players taking that excitement and using it to apply criticism or a raised standard to RPGs going forward.
Yeah.
And this guy works for a developer. And then if you go down this article, all these developers on X, on Twitter, were retweeting it like, yes, I agree,
Yeah.
I agree. And I am here to say, well, this is little dick energy. Like, you're so worried that
Yeah.
some other game is so good that your game's going to be seen worse. It reminds me of when the Horizon Zero Dawn developers were criticizing Elden Ring because
Yeah.
they thought the UI was bad, because Elden Ring sold a lot more than Horizon. But if you go and you look up this article and you look up the tweets, there were so many people like from developers like pushing back, and I just like, you don't get to decide what raises a standard.
Yeah.
A standard gets raised when it gets raised because
Yeah.
something was put out. Also, Larian, this isn't Rockstar. All these people are like, yeah, it's a really abnormal circumstance where they had, a couple years.
Well,
to work
and
on
that
the
is
game,
what
they-
it can be judged against, because look, I think of that game
Yeah.
you said was a short RPG. What was it called that those Obsidian made?
Yeah, Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds.
Yeah,
I think of
Outer
that.
Worlds.
You can have freaking context. I don't expect Outer
Yeah.
Wilds to be as big as Oblivion if I ever played
No.
it, or as expansive, because it was a different size team and a different development cycle. This sounds like it was
Yeah.
in the oven for 14 years. It sounds like, or something, or like a huge team worked on it.
They've been making Divinity, Divinity 2, and then they made Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2. So every game they've made, they've iterated on their formula,
Yeah.
and then they got the Dungeons and Dragons license, so they've been going ham on this for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
That can raise the standard. To
Yeah.
me, that means if you want to have a game as good as theirs, you've got to spend time on
Yeah.
it. You can't just fart it out. Like,
Yeah.
So
That is really funny that I have never heard anybody say like this can't be the new standard. It can. It actually just.
And it was
could
people
be.
from Riot Games. I was seeing people from all these different companies coming out saying that. And then I did see one developer say that he was like, I am really concerned that so many people in the industry are saying this. He was like, games that change the standard, they change the standard. Like, it's not, you don't get to pick if they change the standard. He's like, that's like telling people what they should or shouldn't like.
Yeah.
If people like this and they want elements of this in the other games they play,
That's the
so be
standard.
it.
That's the new
That's
standard.
the standard. I will say this made me absolutely want to play this freaking game. Have you looked into this thing? This thing is crazy.
I have
the
not.
stuff this
I
thing
do
does.
see 17,000 endings. So guess what? Any developer has less than 17,000 endings. I'm not playing your game.
I was seeing stuff like somebody was talking to like a vendor in this game, and they said something mean to the vendor, and the vendor put a spell on him, and it put him on a different planet with dinosaurs, and they were running around trying to figure out how to get back to the planet that the game takes place on. Like, so many random things can happen in this game. I heard that and you don't, obviously, different characters have different paths.
Yeah.
There are more cinematics in this game than there are in Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3 combined.
Wow.
Like, it is an RPG for the ages, it looks like. So
But it's not the new
original Sin
standard.
2 a lot.
I want to stop you there. This is not. You can't think that this is. Enjoy it, but don't ever think that a game can be this again.
But the reason that they said it was an anomaly is because they worked really hard on it, and they took their time, and they engaged their community, and they worked on other games that were similar, so they were able to build up to it. And I was just thinking, yeah, that just sounds like how you should run a studio.
Yeah.
Like, Larian had to do contract work for like a decade. They had to like make like Barbie games and stuff,
Yeah.
so they could keep the lights on. It's like, this isn't Rockstar. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't some like company with billions of dollars. So anyway, and then the other piece of news, if we're done talking about this non-standard,
What's the next?
Xbox bought Activision.
Oh yeah.
After all that, they got them. So I don't know. After all that, I don't really know what that means. If that means the new Call of Duty will come to Game Pass, I'm all for that.
Yeah, they finally won their fight. They had to air every dirty laundry in order to
Yeah,
do it. You had to give that up. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, wasn't it denied in Canada or something and they fixed it? I don't know. Yeah,
in
something.
Great Britain. Great
Okay.
Britain.
Yeah.
But I saw a thing where Great Britain and then the American one jumped on behind that, but the American one unblocked it. And
Mm.
I saw an interview with the CEO of Microsoft, and they were like, "Well, if it's just Britain, like, what do you do?" He's like, "I mean, you look at withdrawing from business in one company, in one country, because if that's how they feel, then we won't do business here." So
Yeah.
there may be a reality where you can't buy an Xbox in Great Britain. I
Wow.
don't know. Maybe that would be the real Brexit.
That would be the
Exit. It
real.
would just be exit. It'd just be
Yeah,
X for
it'd be
Xbox
X
exit.
it IT after series exit. But yeah, and you can
But then
there's
people would get confused about that social media site
yeah, a lot of
because of
X's going
X.
on. A lot of X stuff.
So
Um
what do you think about this? What impact does this have when it's all said and done?
I like how this is still the embed and it has X up here and it says there's a new version of this tweet because and see the latest tweet. That's not even like working. And he even said he was like, don't call them tweets anymore, call them X's. I think it's a meme thing, but I also think this is inconsistent and funny too. But it's got to be he's doing a meme. He's doing a bit. But
He's got to be.
yeah, I mean we talked about this a long time and now it's finally here. I think they've talked so long and they've argued for so long. Just give it to him. Gosh Almighty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just give it
Yeah.
to him. You fought this long. We got to see all your dirty laundry. You know,
Yeah.
it's time. Give it to
Sony
'em.
finally tucked their tail between their legs and signed the Call of Duty deal that they rejected.
Did they? Oh, is that in? That happened
They
too.
signed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they signed it.
yeah,
I mean, they're going to still put Call of Duty on it for a decade. I mean,
yeah,
that's probably worth it.
yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I think that now at this point, if Xbox has Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda, and all the other little knickknacks they collected, I mean, there's no excuse. Okay, from Starfield on, they need to release a couple good games a year.
You
They
have
have
bought
to.
every company. Now make a game. They're probably gonna be the next ones to come out. You can't look at Baldur's Gate and think that's the new standard. It's like, you bought every studio. You own
I have
every.
seen a lot as the reporting came along and the FTC stuff came along, something we haven't talked much about because it's just not what we care about. We care about PC games and console games, like traditional gaming, home gaming market here. We don't really talk a lot about arcade, but we definitely do not talk about mobile. Never talk
Yeah,
about mobile on this
never.
podcast. We don't care about it, and that's fine. But we're in the minority, Zach. Do you know what the most played video game in the world is by tenfold?
Some mobile game.
PUBG Mobile. PUBG
PUBG.
Mobile.
It is.
It is the most popular game in the world.
Wow.
And there are many, 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 many more people that play games on phones than play on anything else. And if you think about it, Microsoft has, up until now, they have no presence in the mobile game. So a lot of the emails that wound up getting leaked was kind of revolving around, yeah, Activision and Call of Duty, and that's all great. What they really wanted was King, who make Candy Crush
Yeah.
and a wide variety. They might do Clash of Clans. Do they do Clash of
Maybe.
Clans? I think they do a wide variety of mobile games, but they're the EA of mobile. Like they make so many games, and a lot of people are kind of warming up to the idea of like that was a big part of Xbox's play was to get King because they are the experts in the mobile space. And I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about this the other day. As more and more people growing up play games on phones,
Hmm.
there's a lot of kids that play on Switches and stuff, but is the home console thing like, does it become more and more niche over time? And the biggest games that are being played by the most people are on touchscreens. Like, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to watch how does Xbox operate now that they own King.
Yeah.
Maybe they just take their Xbox properties and they try to put stuff out on mobile, maybe. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Do they ever do a mobile games Game Pass type thing? I don't care about any of that stuff. It doesn't mean anything to me, but it's just kind of interesting. It's something we didn't really think about or talk about much, but Candy Crush is like it literally prints billions of dollars.
Yeah.
In a way even Call of Duty doesn't, which is kind of wild, but
yeah, I don't know. I think kids still, like a ton of kids talk about Switch or have Switches. Yeah. So I think Nintendo gets them when they're young, and I think they at least know, like, oh, I don't have to like play on this phone. I think a lot of them do. I think a ton of them do.
I think Nintendo kills it with kids. I agree. I think Xbox does a little better than PlayStation, especially with Minecraft and stuff.
Sure, yeah. But
PlayStation may have a hard time.
Yeah. But yeah, future, dude. Streaming.
It's here.
It's here for sure.
We talk a lot about streaming.
We do.
But we still play games the traditional way.
Yes. I will say lately, I don't know. I'll pull this up too. Let's pull this up and talk about this. It was the Scarlet Witch. Yeah, here it is. This is a better article. Fans confused by Disney's $40 limited edition empty box. They're doing a Blu-ray. Oh no, I take that back. They're doing a box of the WandaVision. Sorry, yeah, the WandaVision.
It's on Disney Plus.
And it's on Disney Plus. And when you get this steelbook, there's nothing in it. There's some collectible stuff, or for collectible purposes. Yeah, there's character cards, there's postcards, and we've talked about that too. Of like, maybe that's where the future of collector's editions are. Is you still get statues and stuff, but they're just digital codes. But the thing is, when PlayStation 5 still has the capability to have a disc player and games are still being made physical, and you don't include that in your $280, $350 collector's edition, that's silly. And a lot of them have, and to go even further how silly that is, they come with the steelbook. So I don't know, Disney saw that and was like, oh, can we do that? But you come to the streaming service and then we give you all these extra goodies in this folder and whatever. But it's $40 and you don't get the movie. They're doing it now. It's carried over to Blu-rays, and that is insane. Because there is an argument to be made. Like, games are way bigger in file size, and some people just want to download that and whatever. And I still don't like it, but there's that. But to put a steelbook out, and the people do want to own this physically and to have that, so they don't have to, a streaming service like Disney Plus and just have it and own it, so it doesn't get taken down someday when they just lose their rights or one of these actors, something happens. Like when one of these actors inevitably have a freaking like controversy in like 8 years, and they take it off Disney Plus and you can't watch the episode anymore. Like
a whole other topic.
Yeah, but to not have the choice anymore, it's.
Oh, you know what Disney's gonna do, don't you?
What?
Gonna bring back the vault.
Oh, this is kind of like the vault, except
They're gonna bring back the vault for Disney Plus and start putting this stuff. Hey, you better watch Andor before it goes in the vault.
And it goes in the vault, so you have to.
I'll do. I'll go find a pirate ship.
Yeah, I'll go on a pirate seas and we'll look for set sail for the vault. I'm gonna find the vault.
Out there. We're gonna find it. We're gonna bust that vault open.
But yeah, I saw this. I just remembered this. This was another thing like this on top of Alan Wake, which is not being released physical. I feel like there was one more thing the other day I saw that's not going to be physically released, and I was like,
if people buy this stuff,
they'll
keep making it. But this is super cynical. I agree. This is a bridge too far. The movie stuff is
whoever tried this in the boardroom, they're like excited. Like, we can just sell plastic box that's $1.25 in total cost for us for $40.
It's not really gaming news, but it is media news. Disney is not doing well.
Yeah, they're. I did see that you can't just rest on your laurels here. You gotta. Doing
very
poorly.
well.
Yeah, let's see. Here's anything after company. Yeah. Well, they talked too on let's see. Their recent movies have kind of stunk. They had like Buzz Lightyear or whatever Lightyear didn't do that well. They had that
Journey to
the freaking
Planet.
water and fire elemental movie didn't do too hot.
So they had another sci-fi movie about going to a planet or something.
I don't even know what that is, but
Journey to the Planet. Look up Journey to the Savage Planet
is that what it is?
in another tab. Look it up. I want to look at this. But look it
Oh,
up in
okay.
another tab.
Journey to the Savage. I might have to do it on this tab because of the way I'm streaming this. Journey to the Savage Planet. That's a game, isn't it? It's a game.
I don't know what's going on anymore. Look up the new Disney sci-fi animated movie. It wasn't Lightyear.
Disney sci-fi animated movie. New. Strange World. What'd you... Journey to the Savage Planet. They all sound the same, to be fair.
Dude,
I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. It came out last year.
Who made it?
Disney, I think. I don't know what this is. I've never even seen this.
Look that open. Open that up.
I don't know what that is. I gotta see images of this because I've never seen this thing. That was that like a direct to streaming thing? I don't know what that is at all. Yeah, I don't know, but
they're doing real bad. Bro.
Well, but good news is I don't know if you saw this. Toy Story 5 is in development.
Well, that's what's gonna happen.
That's what's gonna save
That's why
it.
you're getting Star Wars X. That's why you're getting Toy Story V. That's why you're getting all this stuff. Is because nothing else is working. That's why, hey, Indiana Jones just took a big fart on the box.
Yeah. So yeah, Indiana Jones didn't do too well either, and it's like hopefully
they asked.
Consumers are catching up to where like they just I mean, you're burning us out. Especially this. It's like, what more do you freaking need to know about Woody and Buzz Lightyear? And I'm not even against... When Toy Story 3 came out, that was so cool. They had something to say. But when it's so, like, quickly after the Lightyear thing, and they want to make everything something they can milk and make it a franchise, and not everything's a franchise. Same with that Game of Thrones. Like, here's the new Game of Thrones show, and we're looking into more franchises, and like sub things of different whatever. They'll probably do one called Woody, or like there's a snake in my boot. They're gonna do a snake in my boot in 2025 is what it's gonna be called. And it's like they're doing these sub things, and it's like of the movies, and it's like have something to say. Like when Toy Story 3 came out, that was cool. You had something to say, and it was enough time. But when you're doing this so often, so it's like, I wouldn't be against the Toy Story 4 if it was like another 10 years after the whatever one, but there's no patience anymore for that stuff. I don't know, but you got to keep the shareholders happy, but there's only so much you can do, to raise the stock price, I guess, but don't know. But that's Disney in a nutshell. Playing any games?
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull up my little note real quick. So you can still see me, right?
No, I can't, but that's okay.
Hold on.
I'm picturing you. Everybody, take a mental picture of Travis right now. I'm still imagining you. Okay, you're in the hotel room.
I'm getting all these. Okay, I'm gonna read off to you a list of games I have beaten since we last talked.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna laugh.
Okay.
But I have beaten each of these games, and the proof is I got an achievement for beating each of them.
Oh, okay. That would call it. That would.
Here we go. Street Fighter 3: Third Strike. Street Fighter 2: The World Warrior.
Okay, I'm just gonna look up Street Fighter because it's probably gonna be 18 Street Fighters you're about to tell me.
Street Fighter 3: The New Generation. Street Fighter, and Street Fighter Alpha Warrior's Dream. And I also found the time to beat Mega Man 1 and Soul Calibur 6.
Oh, nice.
So, I beat a hell of a number of games.
Yeah, and those are quick too. Those
Why
little
don't you pull up the Street? Yeah, why don't you pull up the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection? Because that'll help me have the list in front of me. I'm gonna tell you a couple thoughts.
Okay.
So I wanted to get into Street Fighter. Been wanting to get into fighting games for a while, and I bought a bunch of them over time, but just not really sat down and played them. And with Street Fighter 6 coming out, which I still haven't played, I just was like, man, this is the time. There's no time better than now to start diving into some of these. So um, I'm gonna kind of in order the ones I played. I haven't played everything on this screen, but I played a lot of them. I'll start in the top left. Street Fighter 1 is complete dookie. That game
It's never
is
talked about,
complete,
yeah.
but it's not talked about because it's completely awful.
So
The only
bad they
reason I
made a
beat it,
sequel. So bad they made a sequel.
yeah, I beat it with save states, and that would have been the only way I ever would have been able to beat it. And it's complete trial and error. And the cardinal sin of that game nowadays is they intentionally made it to where it's hard enough in a fighting game to do the special inputs
Yeah.
and then get the move to go. They made it to where they don't always fire. They fire like 10% of the time. So you don't know if you're doing it wrong or if the
Or
game
if it's
is
random,
indifferent.
yeah. That's
And so
crazy.
you just have to mash and do as many of them as you can, as fast as you can, to get that timer to work out. Now, fortunately, I didn't play that one first, so I got warmed up to the feel of how they should feel, and I just knew it was dookie. But that's Street Fighter 1. Street Fighter 2 is a lot better in every way. Street Fighter 2 is a really good fighting game. I only played the first one there and beat the first one there. Street Fighter 2 is the one that got 18 freaking editions. Like on this list, there's 5. I
Yeah.
think that is the 5 versions of it. I really do like Street Fighter 2. It is not my favorite. I think that those other versions, like the Champions Edition, so Street Fighter 2, you get 8 playable characters, and then there's 4 bosses that you only can fight against in the campaign. You don't play as them. That second one there, Street Fighter 2 hyphen, which I don't know, Japanese naming is so weird. That one, they add in those 4 boss characters. You could play as those boss characters. So that's kind of a cool
Okay.
wrinkle. But then with hyper fighting, that's when they basically took the game and made it like 2 times speed or like 1.5 times speed. So that's when it starts to feel more like a modern fighting game. That's my critique on Street Fighter 2. It still feels really slow, in my opinion. Then with the new challengers, which I dabble with a little bit, they slowed it back down, but they added in a bunch of new characters like Cammy and stuff. So it's slower, but they added in a bunch of characters. And then Street Fighter 2 Turbo is the one where they kept all the new characters and they sped it back up again. And I think that's the version.
That is
I think
really
that's
that.
the one.
Hey, we got a new one, and guess what? We slowed it back down.
Yeah.
When has that ever been a good thing? I don't know. It was too fast.
So I beat Street Fighter 2. I will probably go through and beat each of these because there's little things that are different and they don't take long to beat. And hell, it's adding to my total games beat on the year list.
Yeah.
But if you're only going to play one, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is probably the one. Or you could play Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior. See how it all started.
Nice.
So Street Fighter 2 is good. It's got a great legacy, but to me, it's good. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Street Fighter Alpha, I hated that game. I did not like Street Fighter Alpha. It's like an upgraded version of the engine from 2. It's just got a very bland presentation, and I didn't dig it. I started playing Alpha 2, and I'm liking that better. And I played Alpha 3 before, and I like that quite a bit. But it takes place before Street Fighter 1. It's like a prequel, I guess. I don't know. But now we get to the main event. I love Street Fighter 3. I love Street Fighter 3. I like Street Fighter 3, the new generation is the first one there. And then Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Third Strike is a perfect game. That game is absolutely fantastic. And it's got a great roster. It's got a huge roster. They've added a lot of people to the game that are unique to Street Fighter 3 that weren't into. It's got the best feeling combat system. It has beautiful. Pull up Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and you can see like the visuals in this game. It's got beautiful art style, and when it's in motion, everything's animated so fluidly. It is just a gorgeous game, and the rain is dropping in the background. It is a beautiful game. It plays so well. It's got great depth. 3 different versions of supers for each character. Great backgrounds. And the soundtrack is this like new age, like industrial hip hop thing, and it is great. And they got all these anime style cutscenes and stuff. So,
Nice.
big fan of Street Fighter 3. And Street Fighter 3, when it launched, was a big dud. People did not like Street Fighter 3 when it launched, and I watched some videos. I don't really understand why, but it has aged gracefully.
Nice.
So I dove into Street Fighter, and that's kind of my findings. I've dabbled a little bit with Street Fighter 4, but I'm warming up. I'm going to play Street Fighter 6, I think, here in the near future, and I'm very excited to do so. So,
Nice.
on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, I started playing Soul Calibur 6. I did beat it, which is hilarious, because you can beat that game in 45 minutes. You don't actually play the arcade mode. To make the credits roll in this game, there's a character story mode, but there's a story mode that only involves one of the characters, and you can play it, and that is what rolls credits on the game. And you fight bandits, you fight some people from the game, but you fight bandits, you fight assassins. It is bizarre. I think I'm a little biased to Street Fighter's combat style. Street Fighter is a 2D fighter, so you can't move like towards and away from the camera. Soul Calibur is famously a 3D fighting game, and so it's much more button mashy. It is much less movement, like motion input, where you're like doing half turns and stuff like that. It's more about like just pressing over and tapping a bunch. And the art style is a little weird. Like the character designs are very odd and like weird, like gold flourishes. It's just like a very odd, kind of not cohesive art style, but it's fun. And it's a fun game. It's weapon based, which is cool. I never really appreciated that until I played a million hours of Street Fighter. But it's fun. Everybody's got a weapon. Some people have like poles. Some people have swords. Geralt is in this game. I haven't really dabbled too much with Geralt yet, but Geralt and 2B from Nier Automata are in this game.
Pretty
which
cool.
is fun.
They usually do have like some cool crossovers. For Soul Calibur.
Yeah, Link was in one on the
Yeah,
GameCube,
Link was like the first one,
and
big one I think they did, and that was really cool.
But
Didn't they have Yoda? Didn't they have Yoda in the Xbox one?
Yoda on the Xbox, yeah.
And
very
then
appropriate. With
and then
green.
PlayStation had who?
I don't know.
I forget. They all three each had one. Each console had a different guy.
Darth Vader was on one too.
Oh, I don't know what was that? Soul Calibur 2, PS2.
Oh man, I played Soul Calibur 2
character?
on the Xbox, but I don't remember.
Maybe it was the Tekken guy. Well, usually it was on the box art. I think each box art was different too.
That is the weird thing about Soul Calibur is they always put the guest on
Yeah,
the
it was a
box art.
Tekken. It was a Tekken guy. That's from
And in that way, I don't feel that roster has very many. Maybe I would get totally shouted down for this. I don't feel that there are that many iconic characters in Soul Calibur. Ivy is the most iconic, and maybe because she left an impression on me when I was 12 years old. But
on all of us.
Ivy is memorable. Nightmare, because he's got the sword. But like, look at that character design. Like, what's going on? It's like a blue suit of armor with a sword with an eye of Sauron on it.
Yeah, they're not very memorable.
They're not very memorable. So I was a little underwhelmed by Soul Calibur 6. I will keep playing it. I want to play through all the character stories and kind of get some of that extra content done. But the next things I'll dive into will be a little more Street Fighter 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm debating about trying Tekken. But now that I'm
you're going back through and
games,
playing every fighting game.
But now that I'm more educated on fighting games, Tekken is a concerning thing to me.
Yeah, because each button is a different thing, right?
Each button is a different thing. I'll put it this way: Ryu, even in Soul Calibur or in Street Fighter 4, he has 4 or 5 moves, and then regular attacks. In freaking Tekken, one character I looked at has 187 moves. And you have to be in different stances and moving in different directions to use half of them. And every character is that complicated, and it is like how driving games, there's like arcade driving games, and then there's like tuner, like you're all into you're building the car.
Yeah.
I have learned Tekken is that kind of. It's a simulation.
Tekken is the Gran Turismo driving.
It's exactly. And so I own Tekken. I bought it when I didn't know that. I just thought it looked cool. And I'm going to screw around with Tekken 7, but I'll report back next time. But this has been fun. It's fun to dive into a genre that's not my forte, gain a better appreciation for some of the differences. I have definitely learned I'm a Street Fighter guy all through and through. But
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, never played.
And I beat Mega Man 1, and Mega Man 1 is complete doo-doo in the same way that Street Fighter 1 is complete doo-doo.
And both were so bad they made sequels that were really good.
Mega Man 1 had a fun sense. I'm glad I played it. I would rather play Mega Man 1 than Street Fighter 1. I don't think I could beat that game without save states. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
It's got kind of some cool little music in moments, but it is very much a prototype. So I'm going to be diving into Mega Man 2 sometime soon, which I think I will like a lot better than Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1 also has the funniest box art.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to pull up.
And now that you're pulling that up, that connects to something else. Pull this guy up. Okay, now look up Tekken Mega Man. In Tekken 7, I think, you can play as Mega Man. And look at how they made Mega Man look.
Oh, that's awesome. They made him look like
him look like the guy from the box art. They called him Box Art Man.
That's awesome.
Very goofy. And
Very
he's
goofy.
like chubby. Like click on that one that says Mega Man. He's like chubby and
yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Anyway, what have you been playing?
I have only been playing one game, and that game is I'll show you I'll do what I do for Hangouts where I always just show cosplay for the thing. I've been playing this game.
Nice. This game looks great.
Yeah.
Zelda.
I've been playing Zelda.
How you liking Zelda?
So
That's a good one. I like that.
So I've been playing some Tears of the Kingdom still. I just finished the 4th dungeon thing. I just beat that. And by the 4th dungeon, if you've you've played all the others, maybe this was one you were supposed to do maybe towards the beginning. The 4th one I did was the Gerudo place in the bottom left. I did that one last. But I tore through that thing. I absolutely tore that place to shreds because I've just been collecting stamina and hearts at this point, and all these different helper. I don't even know what you call the helper people that help you, but
the little ghost men,
the ghost guardians, I guess. But
ghost guardians.
Yeah, I still really love that game. I will say that I'm now that I've done this 4th one, it's I'm winding down. I'm ready to finish this game up, I think, but. There's still instances where I'm doing certain shrines, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, how do I freaking do this? And I'm like, I don't actually know how they want me to probably do it, so I'm gonna just figure this out on my own and do a crazy way. And that's what I end up doing is doing some crazy around the world way to get through a solution, because I can do that will work. But yeah, still really loving this game. Like I said, ready to probably on the, I want to land the plane soon, but it's been really, really fun. I will not be getting all 1,000,000 of the Korok seeds. I do want to kind of look up, because in the first Breath of the Wild, spoiler alert, what happened when you got all the Korok seeds, they gave you a golden piece of crap. Literal poop. And I think that is the funniest thing to do, because
the biggest troll. Because
when I was 100% or trying to get as much in that game and getting all the costumes and stuff, I was like, there's no good way to look at these, look for these Koroks. There's no way to sense them. There's no way to on the map. And I was like, I'm just gonna not. There's when I found out there was 1,000 or 750, I was like, that's
inexcusable.
So when you got the golden crap, it's that makes sense, because you had to look this up. So here's your piece of crap. There's no way to get all of them, but no, really fun game. Still love all the mechanics. Yeah. What else can I say about Zelda? I did get. I do want to jump on a little side note. It's reminding me, because they reissued some of these amiibos, and I got the Boblin, or whatever, the little enemy. Yeah, because that was out of stock forever. And I got that. They reissued that. I got that. But also at the same time came, around the same time came the Mithra and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 amiibo for Smash. I have been collecting Smash amiibos since 2014. Now that now that those came out, the only one that has not been announced or shown is Sora. So after Sora, I will have completed all of the freaking Smash Brothers amiibos. It's been a long and stupid ride. It's been a very annoying ride trying to
set
get
them up on like a thing where they're all like set up like the game.
Well, they're set up like in my shop. I still have to do game room tour at some point, but they're set up. I mean, you can see in the podcast set, it's up there, and they kind of have their own. They just fit too. That's the weird thing. Like once I get Sora, like that is, I could not get another single one on that shelf, but I have like an empty spot for Sora. So, but
So you bought the Xenoblade ones, right?
Yeah, I got those up there, and they're up there. But
you loved Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I did not.
Well, were you gritting your teeth when you bought those freaking figures? And you don't like that game?
I mean, there's other games like I have 8 million Fire Emblem characters because they announced 8 million Fire Emblem characters. But for me, when I look at them, I think it's a celebration of gaming. Like there's freaking Mega Man up there. There's Sonic and stuff, and I just see Smash Brothers as like a cool like, hey, if you make it, you get a little. You got Banjo-Kazooie. It's like a tiny little club of like these real like you get. It's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's like I want all these. Like these are the people that made it, and you got Snake in there. It's really cool. So I'll be done with and it sounds like Nintendo might be done with Smash for just a little while, for a while now, but it might even come out next year, and it might be a 10-year it's a 10-year journey I've gone on with these stupid little figures. But do you own any amiibos?
Well, congrats.
Do you have any?
No. What's an amiibo?
You
never spent.
You know what?
$1.
Now I want to tell you. Now's a good time to start.
Every time I play a game and that little A pops up, I'm like, how do I hide that?
Yeah. How do I get that out of here? But
I think it's a cool idea. That all really kicked off before I knew y'all, and when I knew y'all had big problems trying to get those things, and I just thought, man, I'm glad I never got pulled into this.
Yeah, you just watch this in the group chat like, it's out of stock, it's out of stock.
I'm not a collector, but I really love and appreciate having you and even Alex. We have friends, but I'm at your place the most. I love having friends that collect because I love to go in and appreciate, just see your collection. I always see something new. I'm always feeling nostalgic when I see like the shelf with all the boxes. I get a lot of enjoyment seeing your collection or the Pokemon card display that you have. So not too many spoilers for your game room tour, but all that being said, I don't have no time or money for that. But I love that you have
come to the museum.
Friends I have it.
And I was actually going to do a video soon because Alex is he is collecting a lot now. And he's doing some interesting things. He's been doing, and I'll just show this real quick. Collect custom boxes, video games or something. I forget the website, but this will pull it up. There is, you can order these like boxes. Oh my gosh, I need to look it up because it's really quick it's like really soon in our group chat here. He posted, where the heck was it? Here it is, custom game cases. That's it. Okay. But for him, he's been having trouble because he's trying to collect right now. In this craziness where everything's ballooned up to the point where that's why I was almost going to make a video soon talking about my collection along with I think I'll do it after I like show my new collection and because I think people might like subscribe and want to see more stuff about the collection. And maybe I'll dive down, like from there, I'll kind of funnel down and talk more about individual stuff about collecting and all this stuff because I had to hit a pause, like financially, because I was collecting stuff and I still want to get the rest of the Metal Gear Solid games. But what this website will do, and this is what he ended up doing, is they will send you like these repro boxes with the designs on them. And so even though the Game Boy Color are in these plastic cases, they're not in the original cardboard and stuff, but you stick, the games that you own, you can just you can buy loose and put them in there,
Yeah.
and display it on the shelf. And I think they look awesome. I did tell him
Yeah.
I'm too crazy and too stupid. I love the original cardboard and owning the original stuff. That's like something precious to me. But if I was where he is at now and there's stuff he still wants or stuff anybody
the way to
wants,
do
and that's
it.
what my video is, I'm probably going to make is regarding this, is I would push people just to not do what I did. I think it is.
It's too late.
It's too late in a lot of financial means way of
Yeah.
how stuff is ballooned up. It's getting to a point where it's impossible. It's it's impossible for a lot of people to do this. So I think this looks great on a shelf, and
Those look fantastic.
yeah. So even these they're not the original cardboard, but that stuff is hard to get, and you just have these Reaper boxes.
Yeah.
They look great, whatever. But
Smart business.
yeah, but that's what he's doing right now. What were we talking
Well,
about?
cool.
Oh, amiibos, and we got on that subject. But yeah, game collecting. It's crazy.
I think that's it for games.
I think that's
right?
it for video games. Video games are donezo. The walkathon has ended. I've completed.
It has,
I've
hasn't it?
completed the Walking Dead-a-thon that started when I got COVID earlier this year, and it has been a long, long time coming, an extremely long time. There's 11 seasons, but I just finished up this earlier this month or into last month, I think. I can't remember, but the 11th season finale of the show. And surprisingly so, and I actually wanted to, because I missed the boat on this just by a year on, this came out last year, the ending. But I love talking with people about this. So I got to talk to Zach and his wife Lauren and stuff. Zach's been on the channel before and Hangouts, but I love talking, oh, did you see that? Whatever. And I missed that. So I actually I never do this. I went on the Walking Dead Reddit and I wrote up a ginormous post saying, hey, I was a critic on this show. I've come around. This show is fun. I like the show. I'm a fan now. I love the characters. I'm into this. And I gave them a play-by-play, what I thought of each season of this show. And
That's awesome.
people were like, hey, that's surprising. Some of my takes, they were like, that is some hot takes. That people don't usually choose those as their favorite season. But I gave my top three. My top three seasons have to go to, I think I went 3 or 4 as my third place. Second favorite was season 7 and season 11. The last one was my favorite. They just really get to a cool part. It's still about the zombies or whatever, but it gets to okay, how do you rebuild society? This happens and there's no president, there's no governors, there's no you have to actually rebuild society. How do you do that? With the knowledge of what was, came before and what happened, with this outbreak. So with that, they do some really cool stuff in that last season. They have a lot of commentary on stuff and society and whatever, and it's fun. It's really fun. I loved all that stuff. So, yeah, they just do a lot of cool stuff. But, so I ended it. So I watched through all of this, had a great time. I had heard through the grapevine that they were doing spin-off shows, but the one that I had heard about cracked me up when I looked it up. I was like, wasn't there a spin-off? And I was like, and Zach was like, yeah, it's Fear of the Walking Dead. And I saw on Reset Area or something, it was the 8th and final season of Fear of the Walking Dead. I was like, there's 8 seasons of Fear of the Walking Dead. And I was like, I've not seen one screenshot of that show. I've not seen one trailer. And I was like, at that point, I'm a big guy. If I see something enough, it's there's something swirling in the, you know what I mean? There's something I need to be a part of. If I keep,
no buzz.
Yeah, if there is buzz or memes or something, it's I gotta check this out. I did not know what this show looked like, and I was like, so I chose preemptively. I was like, I am not interested in that show. I did look up, they've announced a slew of new spinoffs for Walking Dead. And I looked them up, and I was like, okay, that one I don't really care. That one's cool. That one's cool. There are 3 Walking Dead spinoffs I'm interested in. They each have different concepts to them. And I was like, those are all really fun ideas. I think I want to check those out. But I told my wife that, and she was like, what is wrong with you? Because first off, I was always a critic of the show, and now I'm like now I'm doing the thing I was just making fun of, which is they're trying to franchise everything.
Seeking the high.
And
Taking
now
back to the golden era of Walking Dead.
But the concept was like, okay, and I just finished right before we got on this podcast, the one that just aired live. So I'm like caught up. This just premiered like earlier this week, the final episode, but it was called Walking Dead, Dead City. And the concept is 2 of the characters which hate each other. They have a long past. It's a terrible, bloody, like just gruesome past and hard and traumatic and stuff. They have to go to New York, and they've got to they have like a mission to do there. They have something to do there, but they're trapped like in New York. So it's a new setting, and it's with these characters that kind of like shouldn't be together at all.
Yeah.
And I just finished that, and I had a really good time with it. I was I don't know if it's the same people that worked or similar people that worked on the original, but the reason I really got into it was they said it's just 6 episodes and it's a mini series, and it's just, we're going to get to the story.
Mm-hmm.
I am 10 minutes before this episode 6 is ending, before this podcast, and I looked up on my phone real quick, and I said, how many episodes is in this? Because it felt like there was more to say, like right at the end. And sure enough, they just accepted and announced a season 2 of this this month, like literally like probably this past week or something I didn't know about. So
good. It'll keep going.
I'm still interested. They are doing interesting things with these characters and stuff, but I was like, am I in for another 11 seasons of a spinoff? But I don't know what they'll do, but
they're gonna ride that gravy. You're in for the long haul now.
I am.
They got you.
But I'm interested in another one where we'll see how that goes too. There's another couple coming out, but
so the walkathon ends, but it kind of continues.
The walkathon ended, but it's like we're back. Guess what? It's not even over. So, but Walking Dead, Dead City, I would recommend it. It was pretty cool. It was 6 episodes. I mean, they're going to continue it, but it was a neat spinoff. It was very cool. Some of the stuff they did, it was neat. So
that's cool. All I've been watching, it really is Twin Peaks: The Return, and I actually am going to say, because I know we're kind of towards the end of our time.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to say is, I think we're at different parts. I'm about halfway through it.
Oh, I wanted to update you. We went back, so we were talking.
Okay.
We were talking, and so I've already been through it. I've already seen everything, but I've been watching this on Blu-ray this time. And because we were watching it live as it came out when it premiered in 2017, but this time I'm watching it again on stuff. Oh, I don't want to like show spoilers actually to you. I hope you didn't look at that screen too much. But there was, we'll just have to look at these director hats again. On the Blu-ray, there's like 2 or 3 episodes per disc, and we accidentally, like, it doesn't like set you up for the next one or whatever. It just shows you, so you just kind of have to remember what episode you are on. And we skipped 1 episode. And talking with Travis, like, wasn't that crazy that it happened? I was like, I thought we were past him. Like, we were a couple episodes ahead of him in this rewatch, and I was like, where was that? And we found out we skipped an episode, so we went back and watched that episode this past week.
Okay, good.
And it's funny because there was only that truck scene you mentioned, and there was one other thing they mentioned. I was like, they kind of just said that. I forgot that they just said that. And it was like, no, they showed it in that episode 6, something that happened. But you don't miss too much. It was funny from that episode. But
I was dying laughing that you guys missed an episode and kind of didn't even realize it. It was so funny.
Yeah. So
I agree. If you were going to miss one, I guess that's the
that one
that
has,
you don't.
Yeah, they catch you up. But there was my favorite line is an episode. It's the "Say Goodnight to Sunny Jim."
Say goodnight to Sunny Jim.
Yeah, she. I forget her name, that actress, but oh my gosh, that's something me and my wife always quote all the time.
Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts. Yes, I always freaking quote that line. Say goodnight to Sunny Jim. But
yeah, that is the funniest.
That is the funniest. So
somebody's
funny.
son, Sonny Jim, and they say Sonny Jim every time, and Dougie Jones.
Dougie Jones. But
I,
yeah.
I
So
I
I
think
think we're
that's
called back up.
one.
I think we're still maybe episode 2.
Okay, good.
We watched episode. We haven't watched episode 10 yet. That's where we're at.
Okay. We left off on the one that had the big kind of
8. Episode 8.
left
Yeah.
turn. Here's what I would say, because I kind of, I would say I'm really liking this a lot.
Yeah.
I really like the last episode I watched. It's kind of an iconic episode. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to spoil it for people, but if you've watched, it's the one that kind of goes borderline art house film for about
Yes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
It really changes up the vibe. I like this show a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that I got back on the show and I'm going through it.
Yeah. Here comes the bad
A
news.
couple things. Well, it's not bad news. I would say it feels to me less like Twin Peaks, what I always have thought of as Twin Peaks,
Yeah.
which is kind of that first season is like quintessential Twin Peaks to me. It feels more like a sequel to like all of his movies and Twin Peaks all in one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a continuation of what he was doing with Inland Empire and some of that other stuff. And then it's like the David Lynch connected universe. Not that it connects to his other movies, but like
Yeah.
parts of it feel more like his other movies. Like there's a body that's discovered in like a apartment. It reminded me a lot of Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
And then there's just parts that remind me of his other movies. And then there's the Twin Peaks kind of side parts where they go back to the town here and there. So for me, it's good, but I'm glad I watched his movies because this feels very much kind of almost like the ultimate kind of wrapping up of like what he's been doing for all these years. The other thing I wanted to say was this movie casts a tier of actor at times that is so like Twin Peaks had bad acting, the original run.
Yeah.
There were parts with bad acting, but they did it with like this melodrama and like this soap opera vibe that it never felt like bad acting. It just felt like it was going for this vibe or this weird kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
There are parts, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't throw me out of it, but there are parts that almost feel borderline like Neil Breen level, like some of these people are like bozos. Like it's like somebody he found on the street, and maybe that's just my opinion. So some of the lighting and some of that stuff feel almost like low budget indie film in a way the original show never did. But it reminds me of Inland Empire a little bit. And so that part to me is like it's not overly bad, but I would say there's more peaks and valleys to the production level on this show.
Sure.
But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It just it's a little different than what you got in the original run. Well, I guess I will say season 2 got a little goofy with some of that. With
Yeah.
I remember an owl flying out of the woods with like a toxic like sign coming out of him, like some very poorly implemented CGI. But I agree with something you and I talked about, which is he doesn't try to make the effects look like this ungodly, like this Marvel level. He lets them be simple and a little rough around the edges, and I agree that that's effective and it fits the tone and the vibe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm having a great time with it, and there's a lot still to be uncovered. It would seem mystery wise. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, we're still
It's my
enjoying it.
thoughts right now.
Yeah, and I'm happy you're having a good time with it.
Yeah, I think we'll do a real wrap up. Maybe I'll get into spoilers a little bit when we finish. So
Yeah.
try to do that by the next one.
Yeah. Cool. I think that is
Cool.
everything for this month. No 2 podcasts this month, but we got it done in one.
Yes, we
We're
did.
about to see Oppenheimer. We didn't get that in time. We didn't get to talk about that in time. Or Barbie. Didn't get to see any of those, but we will know that for next time. We'll talk about that. You know what? 3 podcasts in August. We're gonna do. We'll have 3. No, we'll see you for 1 podcast next month. But thank you guys for watching. Now I can say it. I'm not with the actors for my movie. So thank you guys for watching. That's all I did was watch, and I told them thank you for watching. I basically thanked myself. Thank you for watching. But I'm telling you, like,
What if you said thank you for letting me watch?
thank you for letting me watch.
Easiest way to-
Thank you guys for letting me
man.
watch. Like and subscribe the movie. But no, seriously, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please like. We will be back next month with one podcast, and we are on X. Check us out on X. It's not a porn site. It's Elon Musk's really funny idea. It is X. Check us out on X.
X. Just X.
Can I go to x.com? Will that take me to Twitter?
I have a feeling it will not, but why don't you try it? You might be.
It did. It did. I put x.com and it got me here. Cool.
Didn't take you to PayPal?
No. It got me there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But if you have a problem, that's who's running the country. So the thing about that is, like, people are like, why is, this isn't right. Let's have term limits. I definitely agree. But at the same time, it's like, why is she even up there? And it's like, because I think it's like, if she leaves, they get less votes. Like, they can't let her leave. So they're going to, she's going to be in a casket, and they're going to wheel her in.
Prop her up.
They have to prop her up. But I saw a video today on TikTok. They were talking about, like, the things that were invented after she was born. And it was like the atomic bomb. It was chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate chip cookies was that one that cracked me up. It's like, you were born before chocolate chip cookies. That's crazy. But
that's insane.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah. But I think we'll end on that note.
That's it.
Someone said, I like this top thing. I could sneeze and they would turn into dust. Probably true. But I think that's it. Travis, any last Street Fighter tips, notes for you? Anything?
Oh, just always do the Shoryuken.
Always do the Shoryuken.
Right down, up, around.
Right down, up, punch. And around, and punch. That would decimate. I forgot her name.
She would disintegrate.
Yeah, she would disintegrate. That'd be done. She was born. Street Fighter 1 came out after her. For sure.
She's 40 years old. 40 years Street Fighter 1 senior.
Yeah. Definitely. I wonder which. She might like Third Strike better. I don't know.
She might have had a video game radio show.
Yeah.
She was 40 years old complaining about Street Fighter 1. This game sucks.
She was like, I hate Pong. This sucks.
She was complaining about these kids are all into Pong.
Yeah. All right.
That's
well.
So good. And she's going to vote on loot boxes.
Yeah, she's really going to get it. She's going to tell you how to use the internet. They're going to bring her a bill about the internet, how to restrict that. So, cool.
You're being ageist, Zach.
Yep.
She looks
you know
good.
what? You know what? I'm going to be ageist on this one. I'm just going to call it. I'm going to be ageist on this one. If you're in a place of power like that, that's
if it's me and you, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining. Do that Shoryuken.
See you guys later.